Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm Blue Badge Crypto, bringing you another Bitcoin and market update. But listen, if you're not already on the Twitter, get over there at Blue Badge Crypto. That's where you're going to get the most time-sensitive alerts on trends, trading, and analysis in the market. Let's dive into Bitcoin, guys. We're here on the 1 hour chart. If you've been following the updates on Twitter, then you know what we're looking at here. We broke out our pattern, ran into resistance, now utilizing the level of support. If you're new, we can backtrack a little bit here. When we broke out, we kind of started this range here that we're now in. We created this lower time frame ascending triangle pattern where we had a lot of fake outs here, broke out high, ran into what is now the top level of the range. This is where we were able to put in shorts. We wrote some shorts from the top of the range, we wrote it down here, created this lower time frame descending triangle pattern. We broke out of this pattern, had a nice break, ran into our resistance box here, back tested the pattern as support. This is where we put in some scalp long trades, and those targets were hit when we came up here, where we're now resting on support at this box, which was just once resistance, now support here, and potentially looking for that next leg higher here, guys. So we're looking to come back up to the top of the range, but eventually this idea is going to have to be negated, right? We can't trade in this range forever, right? Where you can short the top of the range, long the bottom of the range. Now we're going to come back up to the top of the range and potentially have another short entry here that we could ride down. But again, what we've been talking about is how that would be negated by coming up here, breaking this high. We hold that level of support, right? So price action comes up, breaks this line, holds that level of support, right? We hold that high, right? Hold that level of support, and that's where we could see ourselves good for a continuation higher, and that would obviously negate this idea of a short here, being able to ride it back down to the range. In similar situation, conversely, if this were to work out where we do get that short up here and price does come back down, if we were to try to long again at the bottom of the range, that could potentially be negated, where we could see lower support levels being hit at 40765 and even potentially down to 38439 there. So that's what we're potentially looking at here, guys, on Bitcoin. Something else we've been tracking here are the EMAs, right? Where we put on the EMAs, we take off our drawings real quick, and you can see without even the drawings how this has been in an uptrend here, right? Where the 20, the yellow crossed over the 50 and the blue, and we came up and we utilize these EMAs. We come up, rest on the EMAs, bounce up, come up, hit the EMAs, bounce, hit the EMAs, bounce. So that's just telling of an uptrend where the 20 crossed below the 50 here, right? The yellow's under the blue, and we come out and bounce into the EMAs and get rejected, bounce in and get rejected. Similar here, that was our downtrend, and now we're potentially creating another uptrend here where that 20 is crossed back above the 50. We've come up now resting on the 20 and utilizing that support where we could see that next push up here, guys. And that's just in confluence with all of our drawings here. Whenever we pull them back up and look at them in conjunction with each other, where we come back here in this downtrend, and it was hitting our resistance box, it was hitting the top line of the triangle which was formed, resistance, coming back down, found our support here, bounced back up into the EMAs, hit our resistance box, bounce back out. So you can see how these work in confluence, right, with our support levels, utilizing the EMAs, right? Currently sitting on our support box, also currently sitting on the 20 EMA there, guys. So it's good to see how those work in conjunction with each other, and those kind of make confluence if we could get that other leg up here and potentially come test the top level of that range one more time. Something that we are tracking on Bitcoin, and a lot of people are tracking, is this potential, lower time frame inverse head and shoulders pattern where we have a left shoulder here and our head and our right shoulder here. And this is typically a bullish pattern, right? Where we'd have to come up, break the neckline of the pattern, and it would have a technical target that you would measure from the neckline down to your candle body here. And you could bring that up to wherever you would break. And you would have a technical target on that break of approximately, 60,000 or so if you're measuring from, your neckline down to your candle bodies there. Do y'all see that? So you would have a large technical target on that breakout there. I'm not totally sold on this yet, right? Or even getting to that target. You'd have to come up, hold this level of support. And that's, similar in confluence with, coming up on what we've been saying, breaking out of this range, right? Holding that little support, and we can see ourselves good for continuation. That 60K target is certainly far away, though, and has a lot of work to before we could get there. Something else we're also tracking is the total crypto market cap, right? Where we came down, we zoom in a little bit, We came down, broke down from support. We had this lower time frame uptrend, fell out of it, back tested it as resistance, and fell back down to our support box here. When we were coming up, we knew it was going to be resistance, utilize that level of resistance before breaking higher. Now fell back down, utilized as support, bounced back up. We're able to get above our white line here, as you know, which was the resistance coming into it. Now trying to hold it as support here, and we could see another push up into our $2 trillion resistance, which has failed each time we tried to do it in the past, right? We came up here, got rejected here. We could potentially see that next leg up here where we've come up now, hold this level of support and looking for a continuation to try and tackle this resistance level. And total crypto market cap doing this would be in confluence, right, with Bitcoin coming up here and trying to break out of this range here, right? You know, so if Bitcoin, you know, comes up here and tests this line again, that's what would look like, you know, total market cap coming up here, testing this next level of resistance at $2 trillion here and potentially getting rejected. And now same story here, right? If total crypto market cap comes up here, holds this level of support, right? That's where we're going to see, you know, continuation up here higher, right? Where it come up and try to tackle that next level. And that would probably mean, you know, Bitcoin's coming up here, holding this level of support and trying to, you know, make its own move up higher here. So we'll see what happens, guys. Like I said, we can't trade in this range forever. Eventually, you know, this range trading is going to have to be negated at some point, right? But until then, the only moves we have to make are to trade the range, right? You know, you come up into resistance here, you short. You come down in support here, you long. You come up into resistance here again, you can short. But like I said, eventually that's going to have to be negated one way or the other. Rather we get to short here, we come back down, try it long again. Maybe we get negated down to the downside there. So we'll see what happens, guys. That's what happened on Bitcoin. That's what's happened on total crypto market cap. We can't forget about the potential head and shoulders pattern there, or the inverse head and shoulders pattern. Again, we need to come up and break that neckline. It's about 45.9. So we may have to play around with this entry point a little bit, potentially move it up here where it gives us a little bit more breathing room here where we could enter more so at 45.5. And if that 45.9 neckline were to be broken, it gives us a little bit more breathing room. So that's something I might be looking at, is to have that entry a little bit higher. Like I said, I've been explaining on Twitter, I'd rather miss this entry here where it comes up and comes, we just miss it by a little bit and it comes back down rather than trying to get in too early. So that's something I may evaluate, to try and move that entry up just a tiny, tiny bit to kind of be in confluence with, you know, a potential denial at this neckline, right? Where we'd be in confluence with getting denied at our range and getting denied at the neckline right about 45.9, 46,000 here, where the top of this range is right about 45.5, and you can kind of have a stop loss right there. So that's something I'm tracking, guys. But that's what we're looking on Bitcoin. We've come up, broken resistance, holding our support box here, potentially looking for continuation to hit the top of the range, and that's in confluence with our EMAs here, right? Riding that EMA, potentially going to have that next leg up here to push up to the top of this range here, the blue line. Try to break out of the range, testing it as resistance in confluence with testing that neckline of that inverse head and shoulders pattern there, guys. Okay. So if you enjoyed the video today, throw down a like, throw down a comment if you have any questions, guys. Thanks for watching today.